Let's talk about it. Guys, today we have our 10 brand new players added to our squad. And, well, we actually have 16 because we actually signed 6 players. But we have 10 that we drafted. And we're going to rank them today from S tier down to D tier. And I want to talk about them, and I want to say overall wise, I give our NFL draft today a B. I don't think it was perfect. I liked last year's a lot better, in my opinion. But I think this year we focus more on exactly what we needed. And we focus on the direction that we want to head toward. Rather than just getting the best player available, we went more toward a need-based system. Which I think was actually, again, I think it was a really good idea. So let's start off with S tier. S tier, starting off right away. I'm not even going to sugarcoat this. But S tier is going to be Chris Jenkins. I'm excited for him. I'm very, very excited for him. Last time Chris Jenkins played in college, you know what he was doing? He was playing in a natty. He was playing in the national championship in college where Michigan went ahead and beat Washington State. And his team won. That's right. He's a run stuffer. He can shut down the run. And he is our direct replacement for DJ Reader. I'm very, very, very excited for Chris Jenkins. And this is, in my opinion, the best pick of the draft. 1000% the best pick of the draft. This guy I've been talking about on the channel over the last couple months. I'm very excited that we got him. And I can't wait to see how he blossoms and how he develops. He is one of those guys where I feel like he can be on our team for the next 10 years. And he can be that guy. I really, truly believe that. Next guy I want to talk about is the elephant in the room. I had to say it like that because it's Amarius Mims, and he's 6'8" and he's 380, and they won't let you forget the fact he's 6'8". The amount of times I've seen that, he's 6'8", 6'8", 6'8". Listen, just because the guy's 6'8" doesn't mean he's going to be good in the NFL, okay? Hate to tell you this. Big fat guys who are tall doesn't always translate. But no, Amarius Mims is the exception to that rule. He is that guy. He's going to be that guy. He played at Georgia in his very limited snap count. He only started 8 games. But he was able to go against the best competition possible and dominate at every level he played at. And I think, in my opinion, I'm going to give it an A tier. I think it was a great pick. I think it's what we need moving forward. Because at the end of the day, Trent Brown has not played a whole entire season in like 2 years. So if Trent Brown cannot go the whole entire season and he gets hurt or he misses a game or two, you need someone to replace him. And I don't want Jackson Carman out there or Cody Ford protecting my quarterback. Okay? I'd rather have, wait for it, a 6'8", 200 that. I'd rather have this guy. I don't know what to expect from Amarius Mims. I don't know. I can't sit here and tell you that I expect him to be this, and this. I can't tell you that. Because I don't know what to expect from him. But what I hope from him is he busts his ass. He goes out there and he performs as best as he can. And he protects number 9. That's what I want to see out of him. And that's why I'm going to give him an A tier. He's not an S tier. The reason why I'm not giving him an S tier here is because, again, right now, he's not helping us in the right now. But he's a good plan B. And every time I bought plan B, it always goes A tier. Let's talk about the next pick. Jermaine Burton. I don't know why I call him Jerome. A tier. Oh, sorry, S tier. The reason why I say this is because at the end of the day, it's obvious. And you can disagree with me. You can not admit to it. You can say it's not true. Chuck Sizzle is not the guy. He's not going to be our slot receiver moving forward. Okay? That's why you draft Jermaine Burton. To be the slot receiver. He's a slot receiver in college. That's what he's good at. That's what he's going to be in the NFL. Chuck Sizzle, with the kickoff rule changing, he's going to be our kick and punt returner. Okay? We got Jermaine Burton, who's a slot receiver. Mike, our tight end, played 70% in the slot last year. We also got Trent Irwin. There's a chance we pick back up Tyler Boyd for Pete's sake. And there's also a chance our tight end Tanner ends up becoming his slot receiver. I still don't understand the pick. Beside the point. That's 5 slot receiver options. At some point, you got to admit the fact that Chuck Sizzle is not the guy. Jermaine Burton gives us a lot of upside. He's 6 foot tall, which a lot of people are getting on him for being short. Guess what? He's the same size as Jamar Chase. Wow, he talks too much. He's a problem. He's a hothead. Guess what? He's going to learn under Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is going to teach this guy how to play in the NFL and how to act in the NFL. And yeah, guess what? He gets a little bit physical with DBs after the play. Same thing with Jamar Chase. Chase does the same thing. I'm excited to see how this guy plays. Put out a video earlier today about him and showed off some gameplay of him. I'm excited to see him translate that into the NFL. And listen, he has the best quarterback possible throwing the football. So I'm really excited about this pick. I love these 2 picks. These are my favorite 2 picks of the whole draft. Next one. Let's go with Newton. I'm going to give Newton a B tier. I like him. And I know he's 6 foot tall. No, he's 5'11". I don't care if he's 5'11 and 6 feet tall. Mike Hilton's 5'9". Congratulations. For what we need out of Newton, because now we lost Cheeto and we have rotation purposes between Cam Taylor-Britt, DJ Turner, Mike Hilton's getting a little bit older. We need someone who can come in and be a solid player for us. Josh Newton is known to be a lockdown, man-to-man corner. And we needed that. And that's exactly what we got. We got exactly what we needed. Dax is going to play in the slot. It's going to give us a little bit more flexibility. We're going to have Dax as pretty much a cornerback at this point. Is it possible we go out there and sign a veteran corner? Absolutely, yeah. It's very possible we do. But even if it's just a special team or / a rotation purpose, it's nice to have depth at the cornerback position. That's something we didn't have last year. Last year, we got to a point when Cam Taylor-Britt went down that Cheeto was hurt. DJ Turner was kind of not banged up, but he was the only guy. It was him and Mike Hilton as the only corners we had going into a couple different games. We had nobody else. So at the end of the day, it's nice to have some extra depth and some rotation. And the more corners you can have that can play at a good level, that's what we need. I don't care the fact he's 6 feet tall. Or 5'11", or whatever someone's going to say. I'm putting Tanner as a D tier pick. I understand why they're excited about him. He's a guy from Canada who played basketball. He's a Canadian basketball player who now is in football. And I get that. I understand that completely awesome. But he can't block. He can't be used at inline tight end because he can't block. And that limits a lot of his upside. That's why he went in later on in the 6th round. His inability to block is going to hurt him from being able to play inline tight end. Which means the only time you're going to use him, and as it says on his profile, is he's a slot receiver. He's a slot tight end, slot receiver. And that means the only time he's out there is when he's actually going out there to run routes. And the facts of the facts is, you're not going to keep 5 tight ends on this roster. You got Mike, you got Drew Sample, you got Tanner Hudson. Those 3 are going to make the roster no matter what. Those 3, 100% locked in. Mike, you just paid. You just gave Drew Sample 4-year contracts. Plus, he's a blocker. And Tanner Hudson is the guy. That means you have one more spot for a tight end. Are you going to take Erick All or are you going to take Tanner? I think Erick All is the guy. Because Erick All can also block. He can block and he can catch the ball. They're both 6'5". Actually, Tanner is a little bit smaller. He's 10 pounds lighter than Erick All. I don't see the point of going with Tanner here. I really don't. I think it was a wasted draft pick, and I will say he will end up not making the 53-man roster, and he'll end up on the practice squad. If this whole purpose was to have a practice squad guy, or maybe like a kickoff or punt returner guy, then maybe it'll work out in the end. But I just don't understand the pick, and I think it was a wasted pick. Next guy we have here, let's go with Erick All. I think Erick All is a B pick. At first, I was kind of taken back when we drafted him, and I didn't really truly understand it. Kind of like the Tanner pick, less than the Tanner pick, I would say, because at least Erick All made sense that we wanted to take a tight end and we took one early. And this is a guy that the Bengals really liked. So it makes sense that we took Erick All. I mean, logically. So we needed another tight end, right? We need a tight end in the future. Mike is on his last year of his contract because he only signed a 1-year contract. But he's also 30 years old. Drew Sample, 4-year contract, but he's also 29 years old. Tanner Hudson is 29 years old. You got to get a tight end in the future. You're not going to keep going toward free agency and dipping your toes into free agency every single time. You need a new tight end. You can't work like that. You can't operate like that. That costs way too much money. You have to build a tight end in-house. You have to figure something out, and that's where you step in with Erick All. Erick All, as he would say, can do a little bit of everything. And I like him. I really do. And I think it's a solid pick. And I think for what we're going to use him for, he's going to get his money's worth. We're going to get our money's worth out of him. So I think it's a B pick. McKinley Jackson. McKinley Jackson, I want to go ahead and preface this by saying, because I think a lot of people didn't understand my point of view on him. I am very excited for McKinley Jackson to help us shut down the run as a rotational defensive tackle. Nose tackle, especially. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that McKinley Jackson is going to be the best prospect of all time, but there's a reason why he was taken at the end of the 3rd round. I still will say I'd rather have a lot of other prospects over McKinley Jackson. I would. I'd rather have J.T. Sanders and any of the offensive linemen that were taken around him. But at the end of the day, McKinley Jackson was probably one of the smartest and most logical picks we could have taken. We have a guy who strictly is only good at one thing: shutting down the run. He's not good at anything else, pretty much. And that's okay. We don't need him to be more good at anything else. We're not going to go out there and ask him to do anything else. His job is to look at the running back and shut it down. That's what we need him to do. And he's not even a starter. I don't know if he'll ever become a true starter. He's Zach Carter, but better than Zach Carter with higher upside. I know what I'm getting out of Zach Carter when I look at him on the Bengals. I have higher upside with McKinley Jackson. Could he end up becoming Zach Carter? Absolutely. Could he end up becoming better than Zach Carter? Absolutely. But if you're going to give me a player that I know what I'm going to get out of him, his floor is Zach Carter. His ceiling, Zach Carter on steroids. That's what I give him. Next pick, Matt Lee. I'm going to give Matt Lee a pick. And I know this is kind of weird for a guy that probably won't make the 53-man roster, right? Guy probably won't make the 53-man roster. He might get cut before then. I like the fact that we went out there and got a center, okay? Because at the end of the day, if he is a guy, the potential is this, right? The risk is we draft somebody here that's a know-nothing guy. He ends up not making the 53-man roster, and he gets cut. Who cares, right? We're not risking anything by doing that. We could have took a cornerback or a safety or some other crappy pick with the 7th round. We did. But with this pick, we went with a guy who has the upside of maybe potentially being a guy on the squad that could be a backup guard, a backup center. And it's the same reason why I love the signing of Jackson Kirkland last year. I think, if anything, why not take a shot? If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So I love this pick because it was them taking one last shot at a potential guy who could make the 53-man roster, if anything, as a backup, and give us more offensive line depth. Will he make the 53-man roster? I'm going to tell you right now, probably not. It doesn't matter, though. It's a 7th round draft pick. You're taking a shot to protect my quarterback. You're going to get an A tier every single time you do that. The next two picks are, one was a 7th rounder, and one was a late 6th rounder. And I'm going to give them both a B tier. I know that... okay, I'll put him in a C tier. Because the edge rusher, Cedric, I think, was a smarter idea. Again, a logical move. And for depth purposes, it's nice to have... You can never have too many edge rushers, okay? You can never have too many assets in there that can, rotate and give you edge rushing. And, I'm actually going to give him a C. And I'm going to give him a B. The reason why, and I know because you're like, whoa, we didn't need a safety. Why would we take a safety? Come on, man. Because, first off, Tyson Anderson, he has injury concerns. He's been hurt a lot over his career so far. But also special teams. And with the kickoff changing and, other punt probably is going to end up changing as well sometime. You need to have that extra, depth and purpose out there in case something happens or in case, something crazy, injuries happen. So I'm okay with it. For a 90-man roster, I don't mind. There's other players I would rather take in the 7th round, but let's be honest, most 7th round picks don't make a 53-man roster anyway. So it's not like you're going out there and going from, oh, you took this safety and you didn't take Brock Bowers, right? You're not getting that type of level of competition or level of excellence in the 7th round no matter what. So I think this was a pretty damn good, option. I don't really agree with it, but again, like I said, it's more of a positional thing, and that's what I'll say. So that's my rankings for all the 10 players we took in this NFL draft. Tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. I'll see you guys next one.